What's good? We back with the Boston Clinic. Good morning, your boy CJ Goodfella. Real quick, y'all know how we do the final thoughts for anybody that's new to the channel. Final thoughts, mix it in with the weigh-in as well. That's what the final thoughts is a little bit of reaction to the weigh-in and last few thoughts on the fight at hand. Danny Jacobs weighed in at 159.2 pounds, and I believe Sulecki weighed in at 159.6, so both made the 160-pound limit. And, Jacob said he wins this fight, he's going to be the mandatory to Gennady Golovkin's WBA super middleweight title. I mean, to the Gennady Golovkin super WBA middleweight title, excuse me. Which, is kind of funny. We already talked about, how the, super WBA champion doesn't have a mandatory. And then that's why the regular WBA title was there, for other mandatory defenses. But I already talked about it. They both look pretty good. Jacobs always look good. Sulecki look a little bit more taller than Jacobs, or about equal height. I think, a lot of people weren't expecting him to be about the same height as Jacobs. I wasn't. Jacobs is one of the more bigger middleweights, and that's a new era being ushered in by big middleweights. I mean, Billy Joe Saunders might be the biggest middleweight out there. Jamal Charlo is a big middleweight. Hugo Centennial Jr. was a big middleweight. Danny is a big middleweight. Andrade is growing into being a big middleweight. So you got a lot of big middleweights out there now that's fast, quick, and physical and can punch. So, Sulecki might be looking to make a name for himself this weekend. Do I give him a shot? Yeah, I give him a 25 to 30% shot to shake up Jacobs. But, I don't see Jacobs losing in Brooklyn, not in front of his fans. But this fight, I heard, one of my homies, he stayed out in New York. He said this fight ain't getting no buzz. Danny could talk about him being on posters and everywhere in New York, and I've seen it for myself. But nobody on social media is talking about this fight. You don't see a lot of the beat writers really talking about this fight. Danny Jacobs saying the difference is, we talked about the other day with HBO backing him and then just having, before his HBO and Matchroom deal, like, they really pushing him. But it's only as far as somebody can push you, until you can't push you no more, because you're not fighting adequate competition in the public's eye. I know Sulecki is a good fighter. I broke down the tape on him. He stopped Hugo Centennial Jr. in the 10th round. So he ain't no slouch. The man can fight. He's poised. He likes to fight on the inside. And I don't think he's gonna mail it in like Luis Arias went the safe mode with Danny Jacobs. I think Sulecki is gonna fight and go balls to the wall and put it all on the line. So like I said, I think it's underrated. It's a very, very underrated fight, man. And for y'all that's wondering, before I continue going on, Jarrell Fat Baby Miller, Cheeseburger Boy, came in at 304 pounds. I know he came in almost like 260 almost one time. And he said, I think it was a fight versus Gerald Washington, excuse me. He said he felt weak, so he's going back to 300 pounds. At some point in the heavyweight match, he gonna gas out. Somebody gonna knock his fat fuck ass out. And Johan Dunhap's former Deontay Wilder opponent almost took him to the limit. He came in at 244.2 pounds. That fight is going to be the co-feature. Two Brooklyn boys in Miller and Jacobs. And I guarantee you they don't fill out that bitch like Gervonta Tank Davis and Adrian Broner did the week before. I guarantee you that, Guarantee you that. A lot of people probably don't believe me. Them tickets they still selling tickets. And when I went to got my Broner tickets at the Broner Vargas tickets last week at the last minute, which I should have been got it, I've been closer to the floor. It wasn't that many tickets left. That boy's pretty packed out. And the only tickets that really was left was resale tickets. But I think Sulecki, he seemed to got a good chin. He's real poised. I'll link the breakdown prediction video in the description. But he's a real poised fighter. Takes his time. He seemed to got a good chin. He put the earmuffs on, not a lot of head movement, but he liked to be there. He got a really, really sharp jab, and he got a really, really good right hand. Danny Jacobs, we know what he brings to the table. A lot of speed, a lot of power. He has a history of being chinny. So that's always there for Sulecki to land a money shot. But Sulecki, like I said, he ain't the biggest puncher. But before he had a decision with Jack Colclough, former Demetrius Andrade opponent, he had 7 straight knockouts. So somehow he probably getting better training or getting better experience. Or I don't know what the fuck he doing, but he scored 7 straight knockouts. So don't let the 10 knockouts fool you. He is an undefeated fighter with like 20-something fights and only 10 knockouts, but 7 of them knockouts just came in a row before he just had his first decision in 8 fights. So somehow he's punching harder. He got a good right hand, seemed to be very, very composed and takes his time, can pick his shots, got a good right hand, got a solid left hook, really good jab, and that's going to be a key for him to upset Danny Jacobs is using that jab and trying to check that chin for Danny Jacobs. But Danny Jacobs, he on another level right now, confidence-wise. No, average fighter going to beat him like Sulecki. And I don't see him losing to Sulecki. A little bit fat baby, Jarrell Miller breakdown. Big juicy hater, Deontay Wilder. I mean, Johan Dunhaps can fight. I think he gonna give Miller a little run for his money. I don't look for Miller to have an impressive performance this time versus Dunhaps. Dunhaps he after getting knocked out by Wilder late, he had a real good win. I can't remember who it was, but I think he gonna have a good showing. I expect Miller to get a narrow decision over Dunhaps. I don't expect Miller to stop him. I just never been impressed by Miller. I don't see the improvement or the way he should be stepping up in his competition level, stepping up a little bit this time. So I expect for Dunhaps to give him a run for his money. I think Miller gonna get a questionable decision, but maybe this is the time he put it all together. Being 304 pounds in the ring is eventually gonna come back and hurt his fat ass. But at the end of the day, I like Jacobs by unanimous decision. I like Miller by close narrow decision. And that's my opinion. Like I said, don't forget I'm gonna link the Jacobs and Sulecki prediction in the description. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. All links in the description. We gone.